And we are live. Hello.
Hello.
Everyone out there, thank you for joining us on our live January Q&A.
Yep.
Let me mute my other monitor over here before
it's on the side. Or there.
If this is your first time here, feel free to drop a question or just say hello in the chat box at any time. We'd love to hear from you, just to engage and have the opportunity to say hello. We usually like to start with a little bit of a life update, just to kind of get things going here. So the month of January, Claudia, how was the month of January for us?
Busy. Very busy.
In a word, busy, yes.
Busy. Between dropping the new app and the new website going live, it was a whirlwind. I can't believe it's already February. Tomorrow.
This has been, honestly, this has been
and there were 31 days in January.
Been one of like the fastest months on record for me, I feel like. I don't know, it's just a blur.
It's a lot.
But yeah, between the app and the website launching, there's a lot of work that goes in before, but then once a product like that launches, all of your time is spent trying to fix bugs and trying to work stuff out and customer support, and then we have everything else that we're doing in addition to.
I mean, and honestly, it's just us. Like the HasFit team, it is literally 3 people, but most of it falls on this guy's shoulders. So
yeah, that's mostly because she's doing the parental.
I mean, I got the household and
she's
stuff.
got the mom hat, working all day, and I got to sit in this chair at the computer for 12 hours a day.
And then we have a video editor who basically just
my brother
video edits,
and that's it. Right.
So everything else, from website to tech issues, all of that, it's all.
Anyway, so it's been a long month, but hey, we're getting through it. A lot of these bugs have been worked out, and I think we're definitely through the hard part now. So we're excited to keep building, keep moving forward. So yeah, that's been our January.
Yeah, hope you guys had a lighter January than we did.
Right. And again, just feel free to say hello, whatever, along the way. Usually we'd like to get started with questions that were asked previously,
yeah.
But at any time, feel free to ask your questions or just say hello.
Or just say hi.
Becca started it off. She was in here pretty early. I love your workouts, especially Claudia's modifications, which allow me and my husband to work out together.
Awesome.
That's one of our favorite things to hear, just getting couples to work out together, obviously from the health aspects and benefits, but then, just the relationship building.
Relationship building, and then you have an in-house support system. A lot of times if you're trying to embark on something new regarding your health, it's always easier if your partner is on the same page as you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Totally. My buddy Heath saying howdy. He agrees. Yeah, he was with me there in the trenches for some of that stress on the website. We worked it out. Thank you, Heath.
Good job, guys. Hi, Heath.
Becca says people don't realize how hard and how much launching a website and app are. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, and I couldn't agree more. It's just there's this expectation that everything's supposed to work perfectly and work just as you want it to work, but unfortunately technology doesn't really work that way.
And again, it's always funny when we get emails and it's hi, HasFit and team, and it's
team? Looking around.
We're like,
where's the team?
Where's our tech support?
Here he is. Here, let me get on the phone with the product manager. Hello?
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay, so
wow.
Suzanne, what keeps happening? You keep leaving a comment and then it disappears. Okay. Paige says to Becca, as a software architect, you're correct. It's amazing the work that
they can accomplish.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, questions anytime. Let's get started with some that were asked beforehand. I think you're going to read this first one, Claudia.
Yes. Okay. So this first question is from Melissa. She says, is it okay to do the full body stretching videos 5 days a week while also continuing beginner workout schedule, or would that be overdoing it? She has a desk job and it's really great. She loves to do the stretches, especially shoulder stretches, to help with knots from hunching over at a desk all day.
And the short answer is yes, that's totally okay. And I definitely think you're on the right track, especially with the desk job. It's important to hit that mobility, your mobility and essentially posture, recovery routines on a consistent basis. Because if you think about it, you're sitting at a desk for 8+ hours a day like this. So even 20-30 minutes of re-straightening yourself out every day is still pretty minimal compared to the time that you're spent in a
very unnatural
position.
Yeah.
So short answer, definitely you're okay. Like the static stretching routines, they're not going to affect your recovery or like your overall volume of work that you can do. Let's see. We have a next question was asked by 2 people. So let's kind of move on to that one. Both Tanya and I'm going to guess Pragathi. Both wanted to know about the ketogenic diet. What do you think about the ketosis diet? Is it okay for my body to maintain this plan for a lifestyle?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the ketogenic diet is a very high fat, low carbohydrate. So we're talking about a diet that is 80% fat, about 15 to 10% protein, and then a very small amount, like 5% carbohydrates. So carbs, which are our primary fuel source, come from glucose. Our energy source comes from glucose made by the carbs. But with keto, you're shifting to ketones, which is produced by the liver. So that becomes your main source. Just to give you an overview, the diet came about as a therapeutic response to conditions such as epilepsy, Alzheimer's, and various cancers. So that's how it started. We only recommend this diet if you like to eat that way.
If you like to eat high-fat diet. Like
Correct.
If you like a lot of red meats, you like a lot of cheeses, like if you just naturally like tend to eat a high-fat diet, then it could work for you.
Correct. So if you can live without carbohydrates and just have your carbohydrates come from like fruits and vegetables.
And you're not miserable?
Then great. So fat loss, if you're looking to lose fat and you see ketogenic being touted as like a magic diet, that would be incorrect. Fat loss occurs when you can sustain a calorie deficit for a sustained period of time, regardless of what you eat.
Or regardless of how you get there.
Correct.
Whether it's being on a low carb, a high fat, low carb, however you
just said that twice.
I said it twice.
Or a high carb, lower fat.
There it is.
Or something more moderate.
She gets me.
What matters is that you are taking in less energy than your body requires from food. So there have been several studies that have suggested that when calories are matched between a keto diet and between a regular carbohydrate intake diet, correct, that there is no difference. So your approach to how you eat is an individual choice. So it should be based on your preference, based on your goals, and of course, overall calories do count.
But in summary, it's not inferior or superior than any other way to achieve that calorie deficit. Just whichever one works for you.
Correct. So again, if you can live in a world without carbohydrates, then my friend, more power to you. But
Claudia can't.
But I need pasta and I need a piece of toast every once in a while.
So in the chat, Alexander says, "Hi guys, thanks for all the new workouts. Looking forward to doing the new resistance band one. Yep, check it out if you haven't yet. I've lost 16 pounds working out with you over the last 6 months. Really happy with progress." And he says he'd like to, congratulations, says he'd like to reduce his body fat from the current 20% and following your muscling program and keeping an eye on my diet should be able to drop 20%, or if he has to do cardio. No, just doing the muscle building routine alone, you could definitely still accomplish that goal. Again, most of that fat loss is gonna have to be done through your diet. And as long as you are exercising, those muscle building routines are not easy routines. And they're using a lot of compound moves. You're still burning a sufficient amount of calories.
Yeah.
So no, you don't have to add additional cardiovascular routines on top of it. You could just do that if you wanted to do it for the actual aerobic conditioning. Becca has a question here. Not that you don't have tons to do, but I would love a short cellulite busting back of leg and glute workout I can do at the end of my day in addition to main midday workout. Claudia, you're up.
From what I read, that sounds like you're looking to spot reduce.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, spot reduction is not it's not a thing. In order for you to be able to lose fat, that comes from your diet. Also, cellulite, it's highly hereditary, genetic. So if your mom or grandma, if those are problem areas for them, it's probably going to be a problem area for you too.
And that doesn't mean it won't go anywhere. It just
No.
means you're going to have to get to a certain body fat percentage
For it to go away.
For it to go away.
Correct.
And so just I got to retouch on it because it's like
Sure.
it's a reoccurring trend, and we just trying to scream it from the rafters. You can't spot reduce lower belly fat. You can't spot reduce the fat in between your thighs. You can't spot reduce the fat on the back of your arms. You can't spot on the back of your booty. I wish you could. If there was a magic way to do it, and you just work that way out, that body part out really hard, but your body burns fat equally throughout your body. And then some people will store it more in some places than others, which is why I think where a lot of that comes from. Like, the last 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds, whatever. Some people will hold it. Almost seems like they don't hold it evenly. So they think, well, I need to lose it right here. But unfortunately, your body's going to lose it where it wants to lose it, when it wants to lose it.
And even fit people have cellulite.
Totally.
I have cellulite. Coach Kozak has, we all have spots where we have cellulite. So
No, I do.
It's, it's just our bodies.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So unfortunately, we'd love to put out some new glute routines, and we are actually. That's next on our list, by the way, is a new glute workout.
Yeah.
So it's coming, but just don't expect any spot reduction coming from it. So Andy, who we know is Quirky Fit, is pretty active on Instagram. What's up, Andy? Hi guys. Just wondering if you have any plans to expand the workout gear. My tops look great, but would love some matching bottoms. Working out in my underwear only works at home. That's a good question. So our manufacturer at this time doesn't have a lot of good bottom choices. So it's kind of like a restriction on our distributor and who's doing the gear for us. So if they get some cuter or nicer workout bottoms in, then we're going to be all over it. So maybe I should put in a little email as a hint to them to get on. But we'd love to have some shorts and some pants. Some pants. Jose Huerta. Hi, Coach and Claudia. What's up, Jose?
Hi, Jose.
And you're welcome, Becca. And Suzanne, what is the best workout for me, 68 years old with arthritis of the lumbar spine? I love exercises. So as a number one, low impact. I don't know if it's Susan or Suzanne. I think it's Suzanne. Number one, low impact. So I would stay away from things like running, or even like a lot of walking can sometimes, when those have people that have arthritis can be really bothersome. So I'd also avoid that at any long distances. Any of our seated / standing routines are going to be great. For you, and you can choose which variation of move to use along the way. And at the end of the day, it's just going to have to come down to you listening to your body and learning the difference between the good pains, like the pains that are you growing and getting stronger, and the pains that are like, wait, maybe this move isn't for me. So just getting better at listening to those signals.
Mm-hmm. Being able to discern the difference.
Correct. Let's go
to Todd. All right.
Let's go to Todd.
So here. Todd asks, I think variety is the spice that keeps us coming back. Those 30-minute routines are perfect. Thanks, Todd. I typically see if you're sweating at the end, and if you are, it shows that this is the workout I add to my routine. The motivation and direction throughout is excellent. Keep them coming, you too.
Well, thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
It's a full-time job keeping that variety and spice of life coming for you.
Tell me about it.
Trying to keep up over here. Yeah. Just one note on the sweating thing. I wouldn't always use that as an indicator of difficulty for a workout, because there are going to be other factors that are playing into when you're like looking at me and how much I sweat through my shirt. And a good one is, was that video shot in July or was that video shot in February? And And honestly, we have a non-air conditioned, non-heated, non-insulated garage that we're shooting these videos in. So in July, I'm like sweating like a pig before we can get through the warm up.
Yeah.
And in February, I might not sweat at all, and it was a killer workout. So, just bear that in mind when you're trying to decipher which routine. Well,
not only that, but sweating is not a good indicator of a good workout or a bad workout.
Also true. Some people sweat more than others as well. Some people sweat during different routines.
If I do just like a strength or a strength routine where I'm just doing like slow paced weightlifting or dumbbell work, I don't sweat that much, but it is still an awesome workout. So just keep that in mind as well.
And if you're just now joining us, just a heads up, anytime you want, go ahead and just say hello in the comment feed or leave your question anytime, and we'll get to it as we go here. So we had another question that was submitted beforehand. I'll read that
This is from Hector. Thanks in advance for this Q&A. You're welcome. What exercise is recommended to strengthen the vastus medialis without hurting the knees? He needs to work his legs, but mainly that muscle. So
for those of you who don't know, your vastus medialis is this teardrop muscle over the knee on the inside. So you said low impact would be wonderful, and it sounds like without hurting the knees. So I'm going to kind of read in between the lines here and guess that maybe your knees aren't as healthy as you would like them to be. Kind of sounds like where you're going with that. So one of the best ways that you can strengthen that muscle with zero impact is actually just cycling or a stationary recumbent upright bike. So that specifically will target that. You can turn up the resistance on that on your bike, and it's one of the best exercises to rehabilitate or to strengthen the knee and that vastus medialis muscle over the knee. So, but when you're talking strict strength training moves, everything from a squat to a lunge to one of our favorites that we do all the time, that Bulgarian split squat, are some of my favorite moves for that muscle. If you have access to a gym, you can also use a leg extension, which is like the one where you sit and you, which is another good move that will isolate and target that muscle. Let's see. Montanupi, new look and sound are cute, but could we still have some more intense workout music sometimes when you're doing the more intense speedy routines? Love knife party in your old vids. Well, so did I, but music is like one of those things that we get, it's a fairly common piece of feedback. And I think number one is because we have an international audience, and then we have like a crazy age range from like 14 years old to 90 years old, all doing our routines. Yeah. So we need music that doesn't offend anybody and that is okay for people of all ages all around the world. Pretty hard thing to accomplish. And then let's just add in the factor that we can't really use any music that we want to because it's all copyrighted. And the second we do, our videos all get flagged and they would come down. So actually, even the older videos that have some of those mixes in it, even though they're mixes, it's still kind of like, we don't do that with any of the new videos. We really only use the music provided by YouTube. So it's not even our music. It's like we're just picking the most upbeat ones that YouTube uses. Yeah. So I mean, if anybody has like a dad or like an uncle or like a son or a daughter or a wife that is like a music producer and has
where are you going with this?
And, or it's like the CEO of like a major production house and they have access to all this music that we can use for free. Hit us up.
Keyword for free.
For free. You can email me at coach@joshuakozak.com. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you.
But we leave the volume of the music low enough so that you can add your own music in the background.
Yeah, that's our goal.
So that you can just
we don't want it to be overcome. Just enough to like kill the dead air in the background, not enough to like where you can't add your own in addition to.
Correct.
Jose Huerta says, I'm following your beginner program, but I want to shorten it to 3 to 4 days a week. What are the best ones to cut out when customizing? It seems like you combine cardio and strength and cardio back to back. Yes, you're right. We try to use a pretty even in that program, pretty even distribution of cardio and strength. So when you're taking routines away, if you will, I would just try to take them away in that same even distribution. Like, don't always skip the cardio ones or don't always skip the strength ones, but just kind of try to skip them in the evenly, I suppose. And then you'll also find there are days where they're more like recovery days, really, you know, where you're doing like a stretch and then maybe like an ab workout. You could also like double up on another day and just add that stretch to the end. So a few different things you can do. We just encourage you to make the routines your own and or programs your own and make them work for you, just like the workouts.
Totally.
Let's see. Susanna says, if my left leg is weaker because of lumbar arthritis, are the lunges a bad exercise? Thank you. No, they're not. Actually, they're still good. You just be careful with the depth that you go. And that's why we always provide like the split squat variation, you know, where you're just coming straight down. So, you know, we say, okay, ideally you're getting all the way down, but if you can't do that, that's okay. Even a small dip, doing what you can, is going to be beneficial to build up that build up the strength in the knees. So anytime we have a weakness, the last thing we want to do is say, oh, okay, well, I'm just not going to do anything with that, because the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to get weaker, faster, exponentially faster until it's a real problem. Excuse me. So whenever something's a weakness, we gotta address it and fix it. Heath has some feedback on the music. I heard the standard song you guys used the other day in another channel's video and got really thrown off. Yeah, you know, actually, I didn't produce that song myself, believe it or not.
Actually, I heard that standard song on an episode of House Hunters.
Mm-hmm. They always use the same music.
And it threw me off. I was like, are we watching a video right now? What's going on?
Yeah, well, big surprise. I don't have like a keyboard back here. Just produce the music along the way. I would if I could. That's not one of my talents.
Who has time for that?
Oh man, I wish I did. Okay. Eva has a question. I often wonder the weight of dumbbells each of you are using in the workouts. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it.
The weight of the dumbbells that we use are more often than not used for demonstration purposes, meaning that we're using a lighter weight than we would in our normal workouts off camera. Sometimes not. So I guess in the videos, depending on what kind of workout we're doing, if we're doing like a strength, we'll have a couple of different weight ranges, anywhere from 5 pounds to 25 pounds.
I mean, it's so, I mean, you know, like, and that's one of the common questions. And so one of the reasons why we like always kind of slip that question to the boxer is because like Claudia said, we're not necessarily using the weights that we would in our real workouts, if you will, because, you know, there are other things to take into consideration when we're filming. Like, I have to be able to talk while doing this, and, you know, and think coherently. But then, you know, in addition to, we don't want people to like look at the weights that we're using and either one, get discouraged, or two, think, oh, that's what I should be using too, and then hurt themselves. Or, I mean, you know, it's really all about you and determining what weight you should be using in an exercise is one of those like fitness skills. It's like one of those skills that like you don't really have when you first start working out, and you never really know what you're supposed to use. But it's one of those things that, like, as you get into it, you start to understand, okay, this is a biceps move. I usually use between, like, you know, 5 to 10 pounds on a bicep move. Okay, this is a leg. It's a kind of a squat variation. I usually use, you know, so it's really something that you kind of have to get in there and figure out on your own.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for all of those reasons combined, we usually try to avoid mentioning what weight we're using, as we just don't think it's going to really help you and think it can almost do more harm than good.
That's good.
Okay, from Paige in the chat, when it comes to lunges, what are the primary and secondary targeted muscles with that exercise? So with a lunge, a lot of it is going to be determined by how big of a step you take. So a shorter step, you're going to work more quadricep, so like your front and your thigh muscle, and a bigger step, you're going to work more hamstring and glutes as a whole. And like, you know, a step kind of in between, you're going to work the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes evenly. So those are your three, but your step length or how wide of a base you have is going to determine if it's a more quad dominant or a more hamstring and glute dominant exercise. Good question. Oh, here we go. Chat's lighting up.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Karen. Hey, Coach and Claudia. What's up, Karen? I've had 3 babies in under 5 years. Oh, Lord help you. I'm toned and fit all over, except I still cannot get rid of some tummy fat from pregnancies. Advice on how to really target that area. So I'm going to need you to rewind this video, Karen, to like, we're talking about the targeting, right? How we can't target, how you can't target.
Well, I mean, there's when you've had babies, there's quite a few things that can come into play.
Well, there's diastasis recti, which is one thing.
Diastasis recti.
There's that, but then there's just targeting belly fat as a whole, which you can't target belly fat. You can't target fat at all.
You really can't. But have you been diagnosed with diastasis recti? And then just being able to being patient with yourself. I mean, your body has been through a lot. You've made 3 human beings in a period of 5 years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So we need to take that into consideration too. So just exercising for a lot of breathing techniques can really help too, just to kind of help bring in those abdominal muscles. So some breathing techniques and routines can help just kind of help you tighten that up a little bit. But again, a lot of it is could be loose skin. So things like that are going to take a lot of time, as well as some nutrition.
But to address the question specifically of how to really target that area, we got to drive home that unfortunately when it comes to body fat, you have to lose fat equally throughout your entire body, and again, that's going to be done with nutrition. And unfortunately, we can't just say, okay, hey.
Yeah, and muscle building routines can help as well. You're using a lot of core engagement when you do a lot of strength training routines, from squats to bent over rows and things like that. So I would say maybe more strength training. Definitely your diet. Anything else to add to that?
No. Okay, Alexander. In terms of increasing protein intake, most protein shakes contain dairy. I can't eat dairy anymore, so I'm just wondering, does it really matter what type of protein you eat?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. You can totally eat the vegan proteins. They're great. They're going to provide you with a good balance of amino acids.
But try to avoid soy.
No soy. It's highly processed. So a lot of them now are coming out. A lot of the plant-based ones are pea,
rice,
hemp, rice, which are all great.
Yeah, those are all great.
Definitely supplement with plant-based protein powders if you need to. Whey is a little better at certain things than the plant-based ones, but overall. Yeah, but overall you're kind of splitting hairs. Just as long as you get it. Exactly. As long as you're hitting your protein requirements. What's up, Jerry Nelson? Hi, people. Really like the app. Who are Zatman and Sven? Is the Arnold Press named after Schwarzenegger? Important questions. Okay. So actually, I think Jerry means for Zotman. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Zotman curl. Yeah. And Sven. Yeah. Sven press. Yeah, so a Zotman curl, those palms up on the way up, down on the way down. The Sven press is like squeezing the dumbbell or a plate. And then the Arnold press, yes, you got that one. That one is indeed from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just as people like to, for whatever reason in the fitness industry, people like to name things after themselves. I know Sven, I honestly, I can't even remember. I know like at one point in time, I knew like their first names, but it escapes me now. But yeah, so they're just European guys, European bodybuilders who name the moves after themselves. I need to do like more Kozak moves. The Kozak squat, the Kozak, just through an entire workout. With exercise, there are no more originals. No, it's all already. I mean, I've actually had many moments in my life where I've thought like, hey, I'm the first one to do this, and then like a month later, I see somebody else doing it, and I'm like, no. Anyway, unfortunately, opportunity lost. Should have been the Kozak squat. Montanupi
doing intermittent fasting and wondering if it matters during muscle training if you spread out the intake of protein. How close to workout for growth do you need to be consuming protein for growth?
So timing does matter, right? You do want to get in your protein before and after a workout if you're doing intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting as a whole, again, like keto, does not really matter as long as you are, whatever your goals are, whether you're trying to gain muscle or lose fat, your calories count throughout the day. So whether or not you decide to split it up into 2 meals for the whole day and get all of those calories in at that time, or if you're spreading it out evenly over 4 to 5 meals, what matters is nutrient timing, yes. So timing it around your workouts, and then making sure that you're hitting your calorie goal overall in that 24-hour period. So again, it's not superior to anything else. It's just if it fits your lifestyle and your schedule more.
Agreed. You can't really take away or add to that. Okay. Let's see who's up next. Becca, I like Tabata over non-Tabata because it feels easier. Are they both equally effective? Yes, they're different, but the same. If one feels easier to you mentally, maybe because they're shorter periods of work, then I would say do that. If you can get motivated easier to accomplish them, then that's going to be the route for you. There's not like a clear defined, oh, this one is better than this, or there's not like a bunch of science that says one is necessarily way better than the other. They're very similar. They're working your body and your metabolic system and basically the same way. So if you prefer the Tabata, go for it. Heath agrees. I think we had one more.
Oh yeah. Okay.
One more in here.
Paige was asking, what do you think about this variation of a plank? And then she inserted
a link, which is hard for us to show you the link. But essentially, it's like a traditional plank where you're on your forearms and your body straight, but instead you bring your toes up and you bring your body forward more over your arms. So it's just a progression of a harder plank. And just the same way that like a plank from your knees is easier than a plank from on your feet. If you take your body weight and you move it more forward and you bring your body weight more forward over your shoulders and over your arms, then it's going to increase the difficulty, and it's just a harder progression.
But overall, it's a good
move. It was a good move. What you sent me. Let's see if we have any other here in the chat that we missed. Otherwise, we might be wrapping up here. I think we got them all. Yeah, I think that's it for today. It's been a great session. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. And as always, thank you so much for your support. All of these things that we're doing are only possible because of your support.
Because you allowed it to be possible.
Because you allowed it to be possible. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure to serve you. I'm Coach Kozak.
And I'm Claudia.
And we will see you at your next workout.